I'm grateful. Thank you so much for those beautiful readings tonight on love, and so beautifully read. Our dear Mrs. Eddy understood the power of love, and it is why we named our church magazine Love is the Liberator, which is a quote from her, because love is the liberator. It will free us from any problem we have if we can just love more. Sometimes during this Thanksgiving season, some of us watch it's a documentary really that was produced by Channel 13, and it's called The Pilgrims. And it is a very beautiful, moving story of the Pilgrims coming across the Atlantic in a very small ship, and all they suffered to get to America. But in the beginning of this documentary, it tells about William Bradford as a young boy. William Bradford eventually became the first governor of the Pilgrim colony in the United States, in America. But anyway, as a young boy, he was searching for the truth. He studied the Bible. He prayed. He had had many, many misfortunes. And at age 12, he had studied and pondered the quote from Matthew 18, where Christ Jesus says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." And in thinking about that and what it meant, he realized that all we need to do is be alone with God in order to hear God's voice. We don't need a bishop, we don't need a priest, we don't need a pope. We just need God and our oneness with God. And he felt instinctively to reject a lot of the old theology that he was being taught there by the Church of England. And he found others also who felt this way. And what they were searching for was the primitive teachings of Christ Jesus. When Christ Jesus first came, the healing work that he did, the primitive teachings. And in that time, again, you did not need all this people between you and God. It was just you and God. And so it was that group, they formed a group who got together and first had to go to Holland. They were really taken out of England because unless they worshipped, the Church of England worshipped those rules, they couldn't live there without getting fined and put in prison. So one by one they sneaked away to Holland, and there they practiced this religion, and they said it was the most wondrous time for them. But eventually they felt, too, they wanted to start their own life in a new land, and they came here. And the reason I tell you all this is it is so moving, and it makes me so grateful for all the people that have gone before us to give us what we have today, to give us this freedom. It took the freedom of the United States of America, which was eventually formed, in order for Christian Science to rise up. And then in Mrs. Eddy's manual, she writes, at a meeting of the Christian Scientists Association, April 12, 1879, on motion of Mrs. Eddy, it was voted to organize a church designed to commemorate the word and works of our Master, which should reinstate primitive Christianity and its lost element of healing. This is the most important thing that we have, this ability to pray to God as individuals, to find our oneness with Him. I thank God for this nation. I thank God for the people who have gone before us to establish it for us. I thank God for dear Mrs. Eddy, for this independent church, which once again had to be freed of ecclesiastical despotism. But we are free, and I thank God, and I thank God, and I thank God. I'm so grateful to be here tonight with you all, and we'll see you all in the morning.